We don't have to know the names, of course, but what is the potential risk for a country like Turkey? If you look at it from a European perspective, and maybe it's to Marcel or to Tom to look, could there be a ban of export of European waste to Turkey if there is insufficient capacity or if there are too many red flags in the recycling business in Turkey? Or is it maybe Marcel?
Yeah, I think it is a possibility. I think it is a possibility because they have put a possibility in the legislation to do so, but I don't think they will do it immediately and quite effective. But they did it with Asia, so we must be prepared and have the systems in order to keep working together and keep the business going. So I think it's not. I think it's not done being very quick, but there is a possibility that they can do it because in Europe they are very afraid of plastic, and in the legislation, and we know we need other markets than Europe to recycle all the material. So I think we need to make it work because we want to work together, and we also work together with a lot of partners in the Netherlands, in Belgium, and in Ireland, and also with the traders to bring the good material to Turkey. So I think that's also a good thing. We also have obligation to give you good material so that you can make a proper recycling process.
Okay, thank you, Marcel. Maybe for the audience, the big change in the European legislation, and you saw it's now called the Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation. Before it was a directive. The big difference is that the regulation is harmonized in all European member states. So there's no more difference between Sweden and Spain. Where it used to be for a directive, every member state could have its own rules. So Europe, all the laws in Europe coming out today are regulations. It means Europe gets much more harmonized on a legal level, which means if you get a ban from one country, you got a ban from 27. This is the potential risk. Ton, for you, Ireland, relatively small country. How is your recycling capacity in Ireland, and why do you need to export?
So, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be in Turkey for the first time. It's great to see the country and experience some of the culture. I've really enjoyed the last couple of days touring around, so thank you for that. We're in an unusual, I would say, unusual situation across Europe. We're a country of about 5 million people. We're placing about 350,000 tons of plastic packaging on the market every year. And a maximum of about 1/10 of that is handled at any level on the island. So the vast majority of the recycled plastic in Ireland that we report is exported, including to Turkey, into mainland Europe. I think we've got a number of different challenges with that. Our dependency on export is practically 100%. We don't have a plan in place to set up infrastructure on the island. We're in discussions with individual operators to try and ignite that as part of our EPR obligations and objectives. But one crucial point probably makes us different from everywhere else in that we have a 100% privatised industry. So there is no municipality in Ireland operating collection or sorting operations in the waste sector. We oversee both the household and the commercial operations, or C&D or C&I as you might call it. So our figures include all of those. But I think our concern would be, in light of the regulation change, that there would be any restriction in Ireland's ability to find outlets for plastic. If we even look at the numbers that we've seen so far for the first quarter of this year, we can see the contraction across Europe bringing reduced numbers to the repack EPR. That's very worrying that we would have significant loss in the first quarter, and if that was to be repeated across the year, that would be very damaging for our targets and our numbers. But I'll leave you with one finishing thought on this question, is that we place, as I said, about 350,000 tonnes on the market, packaging every year. 250,000 tonnes of that is going to energy recovery as we sit here today. So the best we can achieve at the moment is between 90 and 100,000 tons of plastic packaging evidenced as recycled. And clearly, for us, that's a country mile away from our end of year target of 50%. So what that equates to in general percentage terms is about 32%. So we're 18% short of this year's target and not a chance in hell of getting there.
Okay, so quite challenging.
Sorry to be so stark.
No, but I mean, talk clear language. It's always good.
Yeah.
Xavier, back to you, because I saw you all extended the scope of your audits. There was one regulation which is in the pipeline which I saw missing. It's called microplastic. Do you intend to add that to your scope, especially when you're dealing with wastewater and cleanliness of things? You know that we operate, and Yamur will certainly also tell something about it afterwards, on Operation Clean Sweep, on the push on the recyclers and on the converters levels to clean up their houses, to make sure that there is no escape of plastic into the sewage systems through rain, etc. Is this something you intend to add to the audits?
What we present, in the slide, it's just a limited number of elements we control during the audit. But I can assure you, you mentioned that we went to visit some recycling facility, and in some cases, yeah, the site was not clean. That's the first reaction, the first visible reaction we can appoint in the report. The others need to be investigated. You ask questions with regard to the document, the license, but as the first reaction, they see a lot of pellets on the field, on the soil of the factory. Said, problem. You mentioned it. It's not a problem which will generate automatically a red flag, but it's a point we mentioned in the report and for which we ask some improvement. And we will control it the next time, by the next visit, asking the people to show the difference. What have they learned from our audit report, and what have they implemented as new rule in order to avoid this kind of problem? Because small problem with huge consequences.
Okay. We will come to the presentation of Yamur in a minute. So one last question before that presentation. You mentioned some of your partners, Clara Plus, the
Yes.
Powers here. I see guys from Peute in the room. I saw some other recyclers walking around. Do they give you feedback if they see some issues, or how strict are you on them? Because sometimes it's the water goes to the lowest point. So
they play a crucial role in this collaboration because they give us the traceability figures. So we have a full confidence and transparency, but we guarantee the confidentiality of the figures. But in their prospection for new partners, they are aware about the element we will control during the audit. So they give the message, and most of the time, in case they see by their own some major problem, they can directly stop the collaboration, because it makes no sense to have a reactive audit system. It needs to be proactive, avoiding any delivery of European material at recycling facilities not complying with the minimum requirements. So they have in the prospection a very important role, and they convince also their partners to invest in order to solve the problem we mentioned.
Okay. Yamur, you can prepare yourself if you want for your presentation, because I know you got some slides. In the meantime, to the guys, you know that we work with certification schemes like Polycert and a few others, and you know that a lot of recyclers get ISO 14001 and 9001 and GRS and you name it all. How important is it for schemes like you, and how important is it to roll out these kind of schemes in countries like Turkey?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think anything that brings recorded, transparent credibility to the industry is important, through external certifications, independent audits, particularly in terms of ISO standards, and also the audits that SGS are doing through Valley Pack. So, one of my takeaways from these couple of days is that, back in my part of Europe, there's not a lot known about the Turkish market. And I think there is huge potential here for us to expand what we currently do. So I think we would want to use those very crucial pieces of evidence to boost that profile and to highlight the opportunities that are here, as I see them. and I think again it sort of diminishes the cynics and the naysayers that are out there that are saying, you know, the industry is X and the industry is Y. You know, behind the scenes of all of that are some fantastic operators and very credible operations, and we would want to highlight those and promote those as preferred options, and ultimately they will be the only option. That's where this is heading.
Okay.